Hi everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini, CodeBreaker RealTalk, and tonight we have a very special show. We're going to be talking about Super Soldier, my lab experiences, memories, Nibiru, Project Kruger, memories on Mars, Antarctica, the underground bases all around the U.S., and what is going on today, and future timelines as well. And today we have Anthony Zender, Jax Slater, Susan Long, Kimberly Murphy, and Jesse Bulk. Welcome, everyone. Who would like to go first? Anthony?
I guess I'll go first because I have some pretty important information because for me, it's just like right now, because I mean, there actually is a movie called Paycheck that actually, because, you know, the phenomenon of the truth is contained in the movies and soft disclosure. It's all decompartmentalized, but there are little pieces of truth in each of the movies. And actually, in the movie Paycheck, the movie is about a guy who's involved in black operations for a corporation, and he is obviously involved in time travel, like developing time travel and being involved in time travel and actually getting his memory erased, you know, being involved in it. And that movie is exactly what we as super soldiers go through, you know, because we get my lab, you know, when we're children, and you know, when we're 6 years old, you know, that, or 4 or 2 or whatever, but you know, that's I actually like to refer to it the my lab because I actually saw a correlation in the training methods of the Spartans, because the Spartans actually began their training to be a Gogi. The children were sent out at 6 years old, you know, to survive in the wilderness. And anybody that's been involved in my labs, we've been taken by the government and pretty much involved in the most intense training that you could possibly think of, because it involves extraterrestrials and space travel and time travel and everything. So that's the process that we're anyone that's been involved, anyone that's really been involved. I mean, because there's people that have been involved in this, and then there's people that haven't, you know. But so there's fake people and real people, and the real deals, you know who they are.
How do you know if they're real or not? I know.
Okay, well,
how would you tell the public? Because a lot of people, you know, they all want to be super soldiers. You know what I mean?
No, I hear what you're saying, though. But you'll one thing you'll find is they will glamorize it. You know what I'm saying? It will be glamorized, and that really doesn't sit well. You know what I'm saying, with anyone that's been part of this, just like and veterans in real life. You know, there's a thing called stolen valor. You know, in the real world, where they'll glamorize their, you know, they'll make up some sort of story, and then they'll present themselves as a soldier or a Marine or whatever, and then they'll glamorize it, but they really haven't been involved in it. And you know, in this that we're involved in, this is the most like secret thing that there is. It is super soldiers, and so, you know, you'll be able to tell who's who and who's legitimate by your intuition will be able to tell you. But that's the thing, is like, we are involved in being taken as children, and then being you know, having to be trained to be involved with all sorts of different types of alien races and species, and like reptilians and spiders and raptors and mantids and just all kinds of stuff, you know. And this is all stuff that we've been through that is, you know, our minds have been erased, but we've been involved in the 20 and back, and now we've been sent back. But now that we've been sent back after experiencing all that, we are now living on this timeline, being involved in that other timeline, which is the, you know, and so that's what each one of us are going through, remembering with the 20 and back. And I didn't even talk about Nibiru, but you know, I'll stop there.
Let's talk about a little bit about like how you grew up and how you noticed that you were a super soldier. You know, in your sports too, because you're a professional boxer. How does it feel? I mean, you know, to have these abilities that we came in with, and obviously they augmented them on some of us, like the Draco blood and the Draconian Alpha White bloodlines and Dolphin, whatever, you know. What did they augment you with, and were you always like a fighter since you were a kid, or how did you know what your calling was here? We'll say on Earth, right? And then how did you realize you were a super soldier?
Yeah. Okay. So there's, you know, obviously in this, there actually is a good show called Dollhouse that explains, you know, what super soldiers are involved in, with being involved in each and every different mission, but having a different personality, different set of skills, whatever. That's that's the process we're involved in. Like if they need us for a mission, we are my lab, you know, because they can pop in our timeline, take us out of our timeline. You know what I'm saying? Use us when they need us, and then put us back. And then we'll have times where we'll have dreams. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll remember a mission, and then that's really actually a recall of something that we were just involved in. You know what I'm saying? And that's how people, like a lot of people are like, well, how do you know you're a super soldier? You know, how do you know this? And then like, you'll know because you'll have literal like memories come back to you in your dreams, because you know, and then you'll be able to tell, okay, those just weren't dreams. You know, that's the point that you get to, you know, because it's so real and so vivid that you do come to a realization. You're like, okay, that wasn't just a dream. And so I mean that's the when you start awakening more and more to this, I mean, the higher you get your consciousness level, like with meditation and you know, all the ancient practices, the more memory you'll get back. And so that's what I've discovered with discovering the mystery schools that I discovered. Rompter's mystery school. I learned how to meditate, and that really has been a prominent thing for me, remembering my memories, as well as learning about the ancient secret of flower life from the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. You know, because they're teaching ancient mystery school teachings about how to light up your Merkaba, and basically all of the secrets are contained in those teachings. You know, because they are for the light workers. You know, to remember for this time that we're coming into, because there's so much chaos and confusion and everything going on. You know, you got we're dealing with the you know, COVID and whatever, and plus there's, you know, there's geo warfare going on. There's, you know, an invasion actually right now coming up from the U.S. border on Mexico. You know, they have cartel members coming up. There's actually gunfights going on. They've deployed National Guard units down there. There's actually veterans that are actually going down there to fight now. This information does come from Kerry Cassidy and other sources like Michael Jaco and other prominent sources, but this is what's not being shown on the news. So
yeah, I remote viewed in 2017. I remote viewed the Mexican border, and there was some Chinese people under there and some ET races as well. And that's when DT was like, you know, we got to build this wall and blah, blah, blah. And what I find really weird, interesting is that now I believe it's the 8th that they've changed, November 8th, is that they've changed the time for the Mexican people to come through the border. You know, and I believe now, remember, we'll say Jabba, what will we say? Baby Jabberwocky, because the last time they took down one of our really, really important videos that we mentioned the word, the V word and the CV word and all that crap. But anyway, so I find it interesting too, is how are people going to do with shedding? Like the people that don't have, we'll say the royal bloodline, the O negative blood type or the O negative carrier. I wonder how they're going to do with, they're doing it on purpose. They want to see what's going to happen. You know, a lot of people come over here to shop, party, you know, visit family. So it's like, what's going to happen with all the shedding? What's going to happen, right? What's going to happen other than the great experiment that's going on right now? Who else is going to come through that border? You know what I mean? They can shapeshift.
Yeah.
They can do whatever.
You know, Veronica, I had an interesting thought today and realized I'm starting to notice a pattern in that the individuals who may still surprise you, they got it, the treatment, and they are unchanged mostly. The people that I've seen massive changes in are the ones that I'm able to sense a lot of fear in. So I'm wondering, does it still need your permission and a little bit of fear frequency to actually work? So yeah, just kind of a download I had randomly throughout the day. I was like, maybe that's why some people I'm noticing are still pretty happy and treating it, kind of mocking it, but they go along with the agenda. They're not afraid of it. They're kind of just maybe afraid of going against the grain. They're not afraid of COVID.
That's exactly it. That's where the fear is at.
It is very true. When I saw it coming in March of 2020, like I said, I saw it was like a strand of an AI with a DNA, with the 5G towers and 6 and 7 and all that, with the fear, with, you know, the commercials, the memes and all that. And I kept telling everybody, you know, it's what you're listening to, what you're looking at, what you're smelling, what you're hearing, what you're speaking, and then it goes through your throat and then goes through your heart. So what are you speaking? You know, are you going to be speaking fear? Are you going to be speaking, you know, healing, going with your intuition, or are you going to be going with the bandwagon? So anyway, I just find that really interesting. Another thing that I've been wanting to say this, and I'm glad I remembered to write it down, right? The other day I was just, you know, meditating in my bed. I don't meditate anywhere else other than my bed because that just is my portal. That's my ship where this is just my holy place. And even when my daughter was living with me, she would not sleep with me on the bed because she's like, Mom, I don't want that to be paralyzed. I don't want to go with you to your dreams, you know, to your astral. I don't want to be taken. And I'm like, okay, cool. So what I heard the other day is magnum corpus hybrid system. But at the same time, I wrote down, it could be hybrid hydration system. So it's magnum corpus, okay, hybrid hydration system. And it has something to do with the CERN portal that they're trying to open up in not only Baja California, but in Texas. In Texas, there's a CERN portal there too. Yeah, anyway, it's heavy stuff. But
yeah, that's major. That's very heavy. It's very heavy.
But that's why we're here, right?
That is exactly why we're here. We're actually here to hold this information and be talking about it.
Yep. For those who didn't see it yet, go Google the ceremony held in Switzerland. It's the most disturbing thing. They literally have a big like portal set up. It's a video screen.
I saw
they're projecting a portal on it, and they're doing these crazy demonic dances, and they're summoning dark spirits. Clearly, they strip down and get nude. They act like they're dead, and then they come back and be zombies. There's all kinds of just super. Every moment of it is disturbing, and it's a CERN promo video. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Just really quickly, I've had about the CERN stuff. I've had a lot of visions. I don't know. I believe it was from the future, where I was actually fighting these different things coming through the CERN portals. And they're the worst things you could ever see, like these giant bats, like demon looking things, huge giant spiders. And they had me in like a cyborg body. So like I was indestructible and I was fighting these like demonic, just otherworldly things. And I kept telling them like, just shut down the portal. So I don't understand. Like they're basically opening up hell. And it's like, they just need to close it so we don't have to fight it.
Yeah, thank you, Kimberly. But at the same time, remember that they have these other, we'll say, planets or ships above us too, that they hide in the clouds. So it's a ley line that is as above, so below, unfortunately. It's not just the underground bases, it's above as well. So we're, they're monitoring everything. So I just find that interesting how important it is that, like we were all talking about before recording, how our heart has to be pretty pure, and we have to unmask the pain that we've gone through, our experiences, discern them, and go within in order to be that pure heart. But obviously, you have your weapons, right?
You do. You have to face that's actually what all the Emerald Tablets are about, is activating your chakras, through the Kundalini by going through the darkness. And it's actually beautifully written, but the whole thing is about going through the darkness, but it's a metaphor for you going through the darkness of your meditation, down. And then it talks about, dark thoughts coming in and being able to banish them from your mind, and then sending a wave of vibration through your body when a dark thought comes in, and replacing it. And these are ancient secrets that were known about, that are coming back to light again for us to be able to know what's real and what's really going on, because there's so much stuff going on right now. And we just that's going to be key for us, that like we're my mentor calls us the mind gladiators of the future, because, very soon here, we're not going to just be recognized. We're going to be sought after, because people are going to see that we are not like we know we're not so surprised about what's going on, because we for years now we've just been talking about this, and now it's the reality is definitely starting. Our reality, the real reality, is definitely starting to come and merge with the one that they had created. And that's the phase we're in, is the merging of realities right now.
And that also reminds me, when you said the one that they had created, okay, if you watch Trinity, Blade Trinity, okay, they're actually talking about the original Draco, okay, and he's actually a version of the one they call the Daywalker, okay, so it's all about the bloodline. They ask in the scene, why is it that you can stand being out in the sun? If you notice, us that have the O negative blood type, or that have been enhanced to the Draco society, remember there's good and bad in everything. I find it that, I have to have the meat, I have to wear my dark sunglasses, and I'm more alive and awake during the night. And it has to do with, I forget the name of the, when most of us are anemic, we have to have the meat or whatever, but trying not to get sidetracked. What I was trying to say is, in this disclosure in this movie, they talk about having we'll say the baby Jabberwocky thing to try and get rid of this Draco, okay? And at the same time, it's like, wait, hold up, like I got that bloodline, so what's gonna happen, right? They're trying to find the royalty bloodline to get rid of that draconian bloodline. There's a war. Pretty much. There's a war. And like I just said, there's good and bad draconians. There's good and bad, dolphins, we'll say, lions.
Right. There's good and bad. Every race. Every race has, just like ours too. So it's no different.
Yeah. Now the chakras, there's about 27 of them. And I know that we were involved in the Moria and in Atlantis. And we were those scientists, some of us. I don't know about you guys, but some of us were those scientists that were like, okay, well, what are we going to do for the future? When such a time as this comes, when we'll say the plagues come, when the wars come. What are we gonna do? And that's the whole timelines that we've been talking about. How do we change them? Kimberly, you wanted to talk about something about the timelines with Antarctica, or what was it?
Oh, yeah, it was about Antarctica and the time travelers. And basically, I've been having a lot of recall and memories in real time because they have me on another 20 and back about things that are going to happen in Antarctica, a giant war coming. And that's like one of the main places where they're going to have the war. And it has to also do with Nachtwaffen. And there's like a giant cyborg army down there that they're going to try to activate with some people that are hooked up to their consciousness. And it's I guess if I could describe it, it's basically gods versus robots. And this whole thing that they're trying to do with this agenda, the Hive Mind Collective and the Black Cube, and trying to tie people into technology, and basically they lose their god soul. Like a lot of people, if you see them, they take this thing, you know, the Jabberwocky. They say that they've killed God. Like, I don't feel God anymore. And so it basically is like this war with our God consciousness and robots, like the Hive Mind Collective. And so, and I know that they're also trying to resurrect ancient gods with DNA. They found, I don't know how I know this, but they found like the ancient, the really tall ones, the giants, you would say, and they're trying to basically do genetic engineering. And yeah, basically in a nutshell, God versus robots, and kind of gets into the Terminator movie. And
yeah, they're always doing shit that is pushing everything to the limits, and they don't care what's gonna happen. So they're involved in like all the worst stuff that you could imagine, because they don't care about the outcome or what could happen with what they're doing. And
yeah, this is what I always phrase is the God Wars. And there's something big time in Florida, as we discussed in Kimberly and my interview 3 interviews back. You guys can go see that one. I do have a memory of babies being brought in, and they're inside these plexiglass pillars, and they were painted blue. Okay, and there was people working on them. And this dream, this memory that I had, I was there, I was watching the babies, and I just ran away because I'm like, what's going on? Like if they were chasing me, you know. And these babies were hybrids, you know, like how we were brought in, but then they kind of doctor you up to look like a human, right? And so what's going on is that remember there was supposedly I was in Kingman, Arizona when I believe it was June, when there was this newspaper, June, that had these babies that were hybrids. They were like looking like koala, human, bear, human, lion, human. And then they, you know, I talked about it live on Facebook, and I said, you know what, this is them wanting to desensitize people. And it also ties up to the X-Men, where the beautiful dark creature that looks kind of like a devil or a bat, you know, he went to the president's office, and you know, they were trying to get rid of the hybrids. And so this is kind of like soft disclosure. And I'm thinking, then later on they redacted back and said, oh, this was just for the movie. There's this Netflix movie that came out with the hybrid children and things like that, and escaping the planet. So it's like they're trying to say that they're trying to find us, and at the same time, they want the whole world to be like, oh no, you better be afraid of them, or you can't trust the hybrids. You know what I mean? They're saying something, then they're taking it back, going back on their word, and creating more kind of confusion and fear. Did you guys see that newspaper or that the Netflix thing that they had on with the hybrid babies?
I saw some news article about babies being born with black eyes, and I'm wondering if it's the parents that are getting the Jabberwocky, and then like it does something to their babies are born with black eyes.
Yeah, that one's another article. Yeah, so there's a lot of projects going on, but anyway, Jax, did you want to say something, or Jesse or Susan?
Yeah, there's a couple movies. One that I was just looking up while Kimberly was talking was 0 Hour, a show from 2013. It only went for one series. I think it just dumped too much truth and they canceled it. But if you go look up and watch the trailer for 0 Hour, it's got time travel, it's got alternate timelines, it's got time jumpers, it's got the war and going back into Nazi Germany to like change things, and it's following this clock that has this secret code embedded into it, and they're trying to track down the blood of Christ, which might still be on the cross, and they think they know where it's buried. And then you find out that, you know, bing bang boom, when they get there they find the cross or a little piece of the wood. They want the blood to do what? Resurrect Jesus. So then there's this whole genetic engineering thing where you find out they're in a secret lab that's got an underground base and they're privately funded and they're doing all this crazy genetic engineering that your wildest imagination couldn't even probably conceive. So it's right out there in front of us. 0 Hour.
Yeah, I mean that's something I'm looking to do, is just for the work that I'm doing, is like for the ACIO, I'm just looking to collect all the soft disclosure movies I can, you know, and that sounds like 0 Hour I'll definitely be referring to.
We'll work together then. I've been working on a massive Excel sheet list for a long time.
Yeah, you know, yeah. I figured you got it.
We'll get together on that.
All right, sounds like a plan.
There was the movie again, Blade Trinity. They were trying to resurrect the Draco in Iraq, and I'm like, wonder why there's always Iraq and Iran war. That's where the black goo is, you know, Shula. Blah, blah.
Yeah, they're really over there. You know, it's not that we had terrorists attacking us. We actually wanted to go over there because Stargates were actually what we were fighting for over there was the Stargates that were there.
I found some of that stuff right after the war kicked off. I'm like, no way. There's no people believe this. Like, who can I tell this to? There's nobody that would believe this. But whoever was sharing it was sharing details like you'd have to be in the sandbox, in and out of caves, to have the kind of details and description and how they described the Stargates and how they didn't like that Saddam was starting to figure out how to use them and might be able to mess with some stuff. So yeah, I totally heard some stuff along that.
I have memories too, living in caves and during the Nephilim times, and then also as a super soldier going through these Stargates, as well as I know Susan has memories too. Susan, did you want to say something? And then Anthony, we can go into Project Kruger and your memories of Kimberly, myself. And then I know Jax will probably want to say something, or Jesse, okay?
Well, wasn't Saddam, he was recreating Babylon and he was inviting the Anunnaki back through the Stargate, and the US government and the military got really pissed off because they don't want to deal with the Anunnaki again.
Right, and then Vietnam, remember the Stargates and the giants and all that, and people didn't believe the soldiers coming back. What do you mean giants?
Yeah, the government gets pissed off when they have to deal with aliens because they can't do shit about them.
Yep. Umbrella Academy was the other Netflix series that was really
I saw that one. I saw the Umbrella Academy.
All the kids have different abilities. There's time travel. There's talking to other spirits. There's kids trying to avoid catastrophe on a particular timeline, and then trying to figure out what events led to that and undo it. Oh yeah, crazy.
And anything that's talking about time travel is really actually extremely important. Because, I mean, understanding what in the reality that we were in, time travel was not a possibility, but it actually is, because it does get discovered in the future. And that's actually part of the timeline we're going to be on, is when time travel does get discovered, you know?
Yep. And pretty much every concept from Altered Carbon, who's ever seen that, the ability to take someone's consciousness out.
Oh yeah, that's a good show.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've probably watched that 3 times over now. I'm like, why is this so triggering? Why is this so fascinating? This is, yeah, they've got a lot of.
I actually just watched the Old Guard and the Virgin over again, and I kind of got kind of memories from that, or at least triggered. Not exactly sure.
We gotta wait for her sign. How do you know how do you know when it's her sign? You'll know when she wants you to know. And what's her name? Drino or whatever.
That was a badass movie.
The main character is literally, she lives forever, and her name is Drino Chrome. Really?
Right. And then there's this other the other Netflix thing called Manifest, and how these people were lost in a ship, right, in an airplane. And
yeah, I need to see that one.
Yeah. That was very triggering when they had, you know, the consciousness being transferred to other bodies, and then the little boy sees the future, and you know, you have these people saying, you must save her, you must find her, and it's like, oh man, I think it's somebody else's consciousness. But they don't really talk about the DID, right, dissociative identity disorder that we have from the fragmenting and creating alters, and that we have the alters, and that, you know, we're integrating them. They really don't talk about that, but they, you know, but they do talk about, well, how is it that we all disappeared and now we're aliens coming back from the future, you know? And then their families are like, well, you know, some people moved on, got married, and then they're like, well, I'm back though, you know what I mean? Sometimes I go through that Mandela, what they call the Mandela effect with my family. I'm like, do you remember when we were kids and blah, blah, blah? And they're like, no, you're crazy. I'm like, no, I remember. So anyway, Anthony, do you want to talk about what did you want to tell us about Kruger? Because I know we were runners in that program, and many more things that we're still doing in that program. So, anyway.
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, that's anybody that's still involved in this is just getting real-time information of them being involved in missions, because we're still because some super soldiers will, you know, be utilized, and then they'll stop using them. But others, you know, we keep getting used because it is a voluntary thing, because actually those that are involved in Kruger are doing good things. They're involved in the necessary things for it to be doing the good against the evil. And so that's what I found out about Kruger a long time ago, was when I found out I was a super soldier, and that I was for Kruger. My source, which is, you know, the most reliable source I have, Peter the Insider, he said, you know, you are a Kruger runner and you are doing good things, you know, because that was the whole thing, is being in my labs, like, okay, you know, am I being, you know, what am I being used for? Is it bad? Am I like destroying planets and killing off species, or is it good? Am I fighting against the people that are doing that? You know what I'm saying? And I actually found out that my scenario was I was involved in fighting, you know, against the dark side and whatnot. And that made all my memories make sense, you know, because most of the time, being a Kruger runner, you know, we are involved in being infiltrated into all of these other, you know, mega corporations that make up this other reality. You know, Monarch, Umbrella, CyberLife, you know, Arasaka Corporation, you know, Typhon. There are. It's a whole nother reality. That's actually all these black operation corporations, but we are involved in infiltrating all of those different places, wherever they are, and then getting information, stealing things, you know, and assassinations and whatnot. And just one of my recall, you know, of being a runner, was I was in a very advanced, like a very skyscraper. I was in a skyscraper, and I was there stealing something. I was there stealing, because it's a lot of stealing their shit, that they stole from, so it's a lot of stealing their shit. And I was there on a skyscraper, and I had stolen the what I was there for, and I just started running. I started because I got caught, because a lot of these times that we're infiltrated in the places that we're in, we get caught. Because I mean, not a lot of the times. Actually, there's more success than there's not, but there are times where we get caught, and then we'll remember like being killed and shit like that, and that's pretty crazy. But in this one memory, I got what I needed. I was running away. I was being shot at. I was able to get inside of an elevator, and I posted up against. I got inside the elevator. I posted up against the elevator. The elevator door it shuts. Then all these bullets start just ricocheting, just riddling, through the door, and I'm just like sitting there, and they're all just flying past me. And then they ended up cutting the cord of the elevator, and then I fell like 100 stories down this skyscraper, and I slammed into the bottom, but I was still alive, and I was still good, because I was in obviously a clone body with all the augmentations and whatnot. And then I got out of the wreckage there, and then there were just agents all around, and they were all had me targeted. And then I popped out 2 what they call 3-in-1s. It's a 3-in-1. They look like 45 ACPs, and basically they nanotech came out of my arms and formed these weapons, because that's what we can do, is form nanotech weapons. And I just started actually running zero gravity all over the walls and on top of the walls, and I just started like simultaneously targeting everybody and taking them out. And then I woke up from that dream, or from that memory. So that was one of my personal memories of being a Kruger runner in the Kruger program. But I'm also having memories with obviously others, like you guys, being involved in it too. Those memories are coming back, because now I know you, I know Kimberly, now I know Jax, I know Susan now, and now once you start knowing people, the faces become clear in your memories. You're like, oh, I'm with Veronica right now. And I'm in this like city, and we're in this city, like it was abandoned. And we were in like the city, and there was no one on the streets and stuff. And then I remember I was there with you, and then we were actually on the outskirts of the city too, and with some like field, like some farm like type field. And I just remember little parts of that, because I don't remember everything. But that was the one. I mean, I'm sure I have many more memories with you, but that was one of the ones that I remember with you in it, because I was like, oh, that's Veronica, and I got in contact with you the day after that.
What's crazy, Anthony, here, just hearing you kind of give that breakdown. Thank you for that, by the way, because a couple of things that make a lot more sense now for me that never really make sense before is I've had a lot of dreams of being chased, and I don't have many more, but I used to until a couple of years ago, until I started really waking up to more of this stuff. So the being chased, and then a couple of times it ending in like I hid behind a air conditioner, and then I felt the cold. I'm like, oh, I got away, and I felt the cold barrel up against the back of my head, and I'm like, fuck, again, right? And then it like matrixed out, and it went like all white digitized. It was really weird, and then I like woke up. Yep. So a lot of those where I'm like going off a cliff, I'm about to die, boom, wake up, and like countless.
Yep.
And then the other one is
when you do get killed, your consciousness returns back to your body, out of your clone body that you're in.
Right.
So.
Right. And then as a kid, I'm always sneaking around the house. I would always try to find wherever the adult was. And then I would try to like sneak around real sneaky and see if I could scare them. So I'd sneak around the perimeter, and I'd like make sure I had the right socks on. I'm like, where does this come from? Why am I like naturally at 4 or 5 years old trying to sneak around and pop the newspaper and just randomly scare my parents because I thought it was funny. And I really just wanted to see if I could be sneaky and not be detected. I don't know why. But now I kind of wondering.
Yeah, that's what being a spy is all about. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Kruger runners are.
Yeah.
So,
You use the nanotech, you use the, I don't know about you guys, but I use black cloak, black shield.
Yeah, isn't it funny they call the guy Kruger in Elysium, the rogue agent that's on the busted up Earth? She calls him.
I saw that.
Yeah. And he's like, "How much you gonna pay me this time? You gonna deny my existence?" Like, so he's obviously the rogue operator. She's like, "I'll just make it happen. I'll give you whatever you need." And she wires him the money. And of course, his goal is to take out Matt Damon before he reboots the system and boots her of her control. So yeah, and a more fascinating symbolism in that one too. And the Kruger theme is right there. The guy who wears the mech suit, his name is Kruger.
Yep.
I
have a memory that so I'm being chased by a man in black, right? Man in black suit, and I'm in a ship, and there's a tall white. I know now it's Moira. Remember, Susan, the one that we met over there in March when we did Super Soldier Conference? Moira, she's the tall lady with the platinum hair. She was actually, I was in a med bed. She was actually taking some yellow goo out of my throat. And I remember that night before I went to bed, I'm like, I got to go in my dream and take whatever is in my throat because I wasn't feeling well that night. For one day, I was like, what the hell is going on? This was in 2017. So this lady, tall lady, dressed in the white nurse uniform, white nylons, old school, comes, and then she takes out this weird looking spoon that goes up like this, and it's a square. She goes, "This is what I took out of your throat. It was yellow goo." And then I got up and I start running because this man in black, this guy in a suit, is right there waiting for me to get better by my bedside. And then we start running. He starts chasing me on the tallest building. And then I fly. I don't know how I hit the ground, but I'm still alive. You know what I mean? And the other memories that I have with Kruger is that we're teenagers and we're in these huge warehouses and we're jumping on top of different rooftops. There's some that are laminated, some that are regular, rooftops. And so there's a bunch of us kids. I don't know if you remember, Susan, or maybe Frank does, but we were there and we were just like learning how to fly and how to tackle people. And it was inside this huge warehouse. I think it was underground. That's what it feels like. But I just find it interesting how, also, Anthony, the desert area and some of the places that where we were, it's where things were being burnt down. It's like, it's kind of like deserted, like we completed a mission or whatever, and we were just clearing the streets there, making sure that nobody else was there, no more enemy. It's kind of weird how that happens. Do you all have any of those memories, Susan?
I was thinking, Anthony, when you were talking about you and Vero, that memory you had and you were in a field, were you guys wearing like a black or a gray smart suit?
Okay. Yes, I believe that we were.
And mag boots. I can see you because I've seen Vero in a white smart suit, and this one's different. It's black or it's like a charcoal gray or something, and you're both wearing the same color.
Yeah, it was definitely, I remember a smart suit, and I remember just being we were definitely, because I've seen the white smart suits, and I just remember a white smart suit. And then I just remember we're also in a house too, for a little bit, like the house, we were in that house, and then we were out in the field where there's kind of like a farm type thing going on. But I just remember in the memory, there wasn't very many people around. Like we were on a planet or some place where there just wasn't many people around. It was abandoned or something like that.
We were in charge of clearing that place up. Jesse, you had a question?
Yes, Anthony, do you remember a parking garage in that abandoned village or town you said you were in? Or possibly was it human civilization, or did it look like human civilization, first of all?
Yeah, for this one, it was definitely, we were, for this memory I remember with Veronica, it was human civilization. But as far as parking garages, yes, I do remember a lot of memories actually.
Like a flooded parking garage, to be exact.
Flooded?
Yes. And there's an elevator in the middle of it.
Okay.
There's a gas station outside of it, possibly.
A gas station?
Maybe a convenience store. It had a black and red logo. From what I
remember. But parking garage was flooded, so there's obviously some stuff going on.
It was a very wet town. It looked like it was just very, rainy, wet, stormy, ruined, old, abandoned, like you said.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some growth on the outskirts of the buildings.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely possible. I mean, it sounds like a recall, traces of a recall there.
Is it common that we live near bases, like underground bases that will be typically close by? Because I remember I used to live in rural Virginia, not far away from Spookville. And one of the common things to do was visit the caves and all the underground cave systems. And they'd tell stories about, the tour guides would tell stories about the back in the 1800s and the explorers and blah, blah, blah. And they'd have a bunch of nonsense myths to go along with it that seem like maybe not so much nonsense now that I think about it. But yeah. That's why I asked, because I lived near a cave system, which is obviously some kind of natural cave system they claim, wink, wink, but it was also very close to Spookville. So who knows?
Oh, I was going to say one of my memories of Kruger, and I found out I was one of their top assets, but like I would crawl around in duct work and then get into like where these different scientists were that were like designing stuff for the bad side. I'm guessing like Middle East type stuff. And I like start taking, then they had their guns pointed at me and I like had telekinesis where I could actually take their guns out of their hand and I would start like fighting them.
Yeah, just like on Lucy.
Yeah, I was thinking the same Lucy thing. Yeah, she lifts them all up with one hand.
Kimberly,
have
you seen
it's
that
effortless.
movie? Have you seen the movie Lucy, Kimberly?
Not yet. But what's the
black goo at the end?
Yeah, you should watch that movie. You should watch it.
What's the memory you have with me in Kruger?
Okay, well, actually, what just happened to me about 5 nights ago, I remember very vividly. I was just like in memory with you where we were in a kind of like a headquarters type thing. And we were just like talking, we were just talking about everything, like just as friends and talking about everything that's going on. And it was just like that. That's what I remember is I was just like, whoa, I remember talking with you and I'm like, this is Kimberly. And we were just having like a casual conversation, but talking about just everything everything that's going on and everything we've been through. So. Yeah, that was, it was a good talk. It was a good talk because we connected because obviously we had been involved in the same thing. You know what I'm saying? With being involved with being a super soldier and being involved with Kruger, fighting for the good side. We have been involved with fighting they said just on the astral plane. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that's where the astral operators operate is on the astral plane. And I believe
Anthony, what do you think about Halo? Especially the kids growing up today, like everyone's familiar with Xbox's major launch, feature game, Halo mini series now. Your Off-World, your Master Chief, your, the genetically engineered super version. He's bigger than everybody. He's like twice the size of normal humans. And he's got his, suit that keeps him alive and it recharges and has a force field. He fights aliens and travels to different planets and he's trying to save the human race essentially. So that one sure seems like programming. Any other themes?
Oh yeah, and it's even got biblical programming because it's John 1:17, which is actually a quote. But when I played that game, that was just a trigger for me in soft disclosure because that's exactly what we go through as super soldiers. Is we do get genetically enhanced, with alien genetics and whatnot, and then we do actually get recruited to go fight in a interstellar, interdimensional, temporal war, and literally that's what a super soldier goes through, and they show and that's disclosed in Halo.
Yeah, I played with my son when he was younger. We played Battlefield 3, I think it was, and Halo and things like that. And I've always been into military movies since I was a kid too. So I found that interesting, how that was a lot of disclosure, how to handle weapons and things like that. What I wanted to say is I had a memory 2 days ago, and I was driving. It was just like a regular freeway. It was at night, and all of a sudden it started getting lighter, and I was flying, but then someone was right behind me, and it was a guy on a motorcycle, all dressed in black and kind of old school leather. And I see him in my rearview mirror, and then I'm in this old Chevy rusted brown vehicle, a truck, and he's on my ass, and like telepathically he tells me move, and I'm like, fine, because I guess he's in a hurry, right? I was upset. So I switched lanes. When I went to the left lane, I went through what I call a jump room or a Stargate. It was a light pole, and in the other side, it was a green fire hydrant. And I went through that. As soon as I went through that, there was all kinds of people around me. I was wearing a backpack still, and there was the ground was actually very thick, white sands. And I'm like, where am I, in Cancun? Because I've been in Cancun before, here on Earth. And then it was very slushy. It was like snow. And then to my right, it was a huge white rock. And then there was huge white mountains, and it started being very cold. And as I went to go touch the rock, I was going to go rock climbing up the mountains to do some hiking to see, well, where the heck am I? Totally like that. I don't want to snap my fingers, but in a blink of an eye, I was somewhere else. And then it turned out that I was in a classroom, and this white female with curly blonde hair comes and says, okay, you're going to sit here next to my husband. And this guy had thick black hair with a button down shirt, like lines going vertically, and in pink and white. It was kind of weird. And I'm like, no, I see my body. I'm like a kid. And I'm like, I still have my backpack. I have my Kiki with me, my little cat. And then they sit me down. He says, I'm going to sit you down next to my husband. I'm like, no. And I go and sit somewhere else. But they had those old school seats where the desk is tied to the chair, and I hated those. I felt claustrophobic as a kid because I've always been big, so I never fit in them. And then later on, there's a scene where there's this beautiful tall man. He looks like an angel with black hair, very gorgeous, handsome man. He's trying to have sex with me, and I'm like, no, I'm a little kid, And then I don't know how I get up from that bed, and it's like, oh hell no. It was just very triggering. But something from Antarctica again. There's a reason why in the we'll say the TV, right? When we used to watch TV, they only have certain, if you notice, they only have certain scenes where they show Antarctica. They don't want, it's like the dark side of the moon, right? They don't want you to see what's really going on there. And so they're getting ready to do some meetings now that it's November coming, December. There's going to be some people disappearing. That's what I see. Anybody else want to say something?
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of information that we have less than 2 years before everything gets really, really bad with with the mass die-offs. I've seen like the bodies just basically lining the street. Nobody can bury them, and like the tsunami hitting New York, and just a lot of disasters and invasion. And I've also seen a Nibiru thing too, with the meteorites hitting.
Yeah. Okay. So then, yeah, I guess I'll talk about that then. Nibiru. since we're talking about that, because that's actually that's actually the most important thing to talk about. Like the biggest secret that there is, that's the elites. They did build the deep underground military bases for Nibiru's passing, because that's the knowledge that the elites have kept, is that Nibiru does pass every 3,600 years. And what I've known about is because this is a Masonic secret, and like I am a Freemason. I do study Freemasonry. Freemasonry is definitely misunderstood. You know, based on what people learn on the internet, it's actually derived from teachings from the actual enlightened ones, like the actual real Illuminati. That's not the dark Illuminati. So this is where that knowledge is coming from. And Nibiru is coming, though, because not only do I remember it passing in past lives, I remember seeing the whole planet in the atmosphere. You know, just as far as my eye could see, I just saw a planet. I looked up straight and I just saw this huge planet with all these, like, this very technological, it was very highly technological, like the surface of it was. And then I've been having other dreams of actually seeing its approach, like it getting closer and closer and looking like a star in the sky, but then actually looking like a planet as it gets closer. And I've even seen in remote viewing it too, because I know about the mechanics of remote viewing. It has to do with the Merkaba. And then once you start to understand the mechanics of the Merkaba, you can understand how a remote view and where your consciousness goes in time and space. And I've seen it in our system. And basically what I learned from the Masons is actually when it actually was starting to get close. You know what I'm saying? When it was starting to get noticeably close. You know, obviously everything, when it gets close, there's always catastrophes. There's always chaos, confusion. There's always meteorites hitting the earth. There's all kinds of like comets, and you know they're going to mention comets, and they're going to mention finding new star systems, you know, that are and finding new stars. And lo and behold, I actually got a picture the other day of somebody that took a picture up in the sky, and it was very odd because there was just a circular orb. Like it was but it wasn't an orb. It was an actual body. It was a celestial body in the sky during the daytime. So this celestial body was in the sky during the daytime, and it's a planet coming in. And what they're going to do is announce it as a new star being found in a new system, which actually the past 4 days ago, they actually announced it, that they found a new star system coming. They found a new star system. So this is the cover story for Nibiru coming in, because they're even seeding the consciousness now, predictive programming with movies like Moonfall. There's a movie called Moonfall coming out where it begins with the Earth right there, and then it shows the moon, and the moon is just coming in, just obviously just going to scrape right past it. And then the moon turns red as well. And they showed that movie, and that was predictive programming. And then they also showed a movie called Don't Look Up. And it's obviously this movie has got all the stars in it. And so a lot of people are going to be seeing this, because this has got the stars that like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jonah Hill, Jennifer Lawrence, it's got everybody. And it's about two astronomers that discover a comet that is heading for Earth. You know what I'm saying? So they're definitely getting the public ready for something that they can't hide.
True that, because I've seen that too. Then there's this other thing, Anthony, thank you for that, is that the sun, because there's two suns here, we know that. What they want to do is, the reason why they're also doing this Jabberwocky thing is not only to try and get the God gene out of people and do transhumanism, but they want to they know that they're saying that the sun is going to turn cold and that only those that can survive the coldest winters will survive. And I remember since I was a kid, I think I was like in 4th or 5th grade, you know, these commercials and these movies, go underground, you know, you got to tell your parents to make a bunker underground and stock up on the food. And there's a nuclear war coming, you know, and then the earthquakes. Oh, get under your, remember, Susan, get under your desks because there's an earthquake coming. Let's practice, you know. It's like, really, this crap has been being talked about for a long time. And I'm like, okay, so if we have 2 sons, which one of them is a mechanical one, it's like, why?
Yes, it is. That's the Truman Show. You know, they rise it and set it every day on the same thing, and that actually keeps us. That is actually a weapon that keeps us in a time loop. It keeps us in a time loop because people see the sun rise and set and fall every day, and it keeps people in a certain level of consciousness that keeps us in a time loop. So once that all gets, you know, unveiled, that's when we'll actually escape out of the time loop that we're in. That's been weaponized against us with consciousness, and then we will actually go into a quantum leap of you know, of rising our consciousness, and that's what we're getting ready for. You know, is the big quantum leap, and like what the hell is going on, and you know, getting connected with that.
What's up with all these cloaked ships in the sky? Like, even where I live in the Midwest, I'll see these cloud formations that are not normal. And I swear, like, I should have got my camera out because it looks like there's actually ships behind there because the cloud formations don't look natural. Like, do you see like some invasion or rescue mission?
Well, that's actually funny that you say that, though, because this is actually an important point too. Is because where I am at right now in Washington, about a week and a half, about actually 3 weeks ago, for about 11 days straight, there was like concussively loud explosions going on. Like this was space-based weaponry. Being actually fired and taking out deep underground military bases where I live in Washington. So I was actually near where they have deep underground military bases, and there's a lot of space warfare going on, and actually like orbital strikes, and they're using rods of God. So there's actually a big space war going on. So that may have to do with the reason why you're seeing cloaked ships, because they're you know, maybe just like monitoring the area, you know, doing cleanup or whatever. But they're there because there is like all this space-based warfare going on, like because the deep underground military bases are being taken out right now. Like, and I've actually like been hearing it and feeling it.
Well, I've been under the underground bases and saving these kids and the underground tunnels, and I've seen the mantas that are there. Some of them are good, actually, the mantas, okay? Real quick, there was a question about the DUMBs in San Francisco. Someone asked, are there DUMBs in San Francisco? And I said, yeah, the DUMBs are pretty much everywhere on the grid line under the US, and it connects to other countries. And then she was saying this, I don't know if I can say her name. So she was saying something like she drove by and she sent the video on Messenger. And she said something coming up here in the airport by San Francisco. And I'm like, oh, probably some crisis actors or something like that coming up, you know. And I felt it was something around Thanksgiving. So I found that interesting. Also, as far as the cloud formations, Kimberly, yes, they have cloaking technology, obviously. But what happens is, okay, some people will be like, oh my God, that's a face. Okay. Well, that's what they want you to look at. They want you to say, oh, look, that's a Draco face, or that looks like a fish, or that looks like whatever, an angel. Well, guess what? If you look with your third eye and you use your senses, you'll see the freaking ships. You'll see the aircraft. It's not the face, baby. That's just an outlay of what they want the normal people to see. It's like, oh my God, I just saw an angel, dude. Looks like Jesus. Like, nah, dude, it's not. Like, wake up. Project Bluebeam. Anyway, who's next?
I was going to say, Kimberly, start taking pictures of these ships because Vero and I get them all the time. I get triangle ships will come and hit me with energy weapons, but then I also get friendlies that'll show up that I asked on my birthday a couple of years ago when I was driving home to see my Star Family ships, and I saw some Vimanas, but I've also seen the Merkabas at ESETI that the Lyrans are in, and I've seen them out here where I'm at, and they're really beautiful. They're multicolored, and they turn, and they'll communicate with you and turn on and off. So start taking pictures. I'll send you a video of one I have of one of the Merkaba ships. It's pretty cool.
I have some videos too, and yes, Susan and I share them all the time, and it's so funny because I tell people, you know, you can communicate with these things. And some of these things, remember, guys, they're also drones and satellites. Okay. They're also the eyes in the sky. They're not stars. So you got to be careful with that. So what I always tell people is take 3 pictures, consecutive pictures without the flash. Now, if you're going to put the flash on, you're going to call them to you. So beware. Who are you calling? You know, ET phone home or what? Anyway. Take 3 consecutive pictures without a flash, and then expand the photo. You can even do some shading. There's some programs on the computer that you can do that, or you'll get used to seeing the little dots around, and you'll see. I can teach you guys this privately, or we can do a class or whatever another time, or a meeting, whatever. But also look at the what I call the dead space, because the ships are hiding right there. And also I've seen Anunnaki ships, the cigar-shaped ships here in the Catalina Mountains. The Anunnaki ships are always popping off left and right, especially in the early morning, like 4:30 in the morning. Go ahead, Jax or Anthony or Jess. Jax, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, we see in Arizona here that UFOs are like commonplace, right? So as soon as I moved here, I started seeing orange orbs and the clear like balloon, almost like bubbles, and there were like hundreds of them at a time. So they've had the ability to project whatever they want us to see. And so nowadays, yeah, I mean, I'm on TikTok a lot. The algorithm knows me really, really well, and it feeds me a lot of UFO content. I had no idea how much stuff is popping up now and how often people are seeing things that either want to be seen or the veil is dropping and there's no hiding it anymore. I mean, it's probably a combination of things, but yeah, it's kind of exciting.
Yeah, it's you know, I just know from my sources, we are getting prepared for what's called the Great Intimidation, and there's just all sorts of signs. I actually I talked to you know, Peter the Insider, and I was wondering because I had you know, put together that they were releasing Operation Starfall up, which is was basically it's the quantum satellite system going up to replace the like Mossad satellite system and like the whole satellite system that has to do with like the kill grid, the grid, the 3D grid we're on. And when I saw the Operation Starfall go up, I was like, okay, there's something's about to go down. Everything's about to go down, and I actually got into contact with Peter the Insider, and I got information out of him. I like pretty much the information I wanted to get out of him without really asking him like what. And he confirmed. I was like, so when, you know, is this all going to go down? When is everything going to get shut off? Like, you know, because he said, you know, you're going to see. Before it happens, you're going to see, you know, airlines going down, you know, flights being canceled, all this stuff. And lo and behold, that's been happening with Southwest and all this stuff. And so all the things that, you know, are happening are indicating of this actual global shutdown. And I've gotten other sources like Michael Jaco, who actually, you know, believes around November 2nd, you know, and when I learned from Peter, he said that this would happen in 6 weeks' time, and that was about 4 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago that he said that. So
I just, before you go any further, Anthony, I'm just gonna call bullshit to where he's trying to say that Juan 07 is JFK. That's bullshit, you guys. You got to be careful with these white hats. They're also black.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, okay. I'm gonna address that. I'm gonna address that right now. 107 is a legitimate source of information. 107 is not JFK Jr. He's not JFK Jr. He's 107. He's 107, and he actually has been involved in going around with Donald Trump. And, you know, he's a patriot. He's an American man, and he actually is involved with the alliance and knowing what's going on with like the border and whatnot as well. And he's not JFK Jr., but he's just 107. People want to believe they want to that was one thing, because he did keep his identity secret for a little bit, so that created the whole is this JFK Jr. phenomenon? You know what I'm saying? He did do that, but he's not, like, and he never intended to be either. You know what I'm saying?
And hopefully we could get the F word taken out there, Jax. But another effed up thing that I want to talk about too is, you know, people are over here making these videos. Oh my God, DT is coming back. There's like, Apple is having a new social media. I'm like, nah, guys, Apple is part of G Mafia. G Mafia, right? Google, Apple, IBM, Facebook, Amazon. Okay. Microsoft. So this Apple is actually spyware to spy on you. Okay. And also to spy to see who's on the Trump train. Okay. That's used. They're going to sell things on Apple saying, oh, if you join this or DT or, you know, the Republican side, you get this free VPN, whatever. You can trace your credit score or see who's infiltrating you. Anyway, it's spyware, guys. So all these people are like, oh my gosh, DT has this new, you know, thing and he's coming back. It's like, really? Nah, guys, don't be dumb. That's to spy on American people and the other people. If you don't believe me, look up the book by Amy Webb.
A good show, actually, a good show for how they spy on us and the AI systems that they use is Person of Interest. If people want to see like about AI,
Vin Caviezel. Yep.
Yeah.
Competing AIs, even it evolves. The storyline really evolves to eventually.
Oh, dude, yeah, this is big time disclosure.
Change the timeline. Yep.
You got to look up Mile 22 because one of my DARPA agents, he said, you better look at that one. That's real CIA shit. And I'm like, dude, I already know. It's like, you don't have to tell me.
I wanted to ask your opinion about something about, like, I would say the alien invasion, or in the Bible it's written about as the New Jerusalem, which actually, when you look at it, it looks like they're describing a cube city. So how would you, are we looking at some sort of ET invasion, or what's
those? I don't know what okay, because you know the bloodline again. That's we'll call them I'm trying not to judge here, but we'll say the false Jew line. Okay, those are the ones that are with the bankers in space. Those are the ones with, you know, they're trying to get you to buy Bitcoin and get the Jabberwocky. Anyway, Anthony, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So as far as I know about the alien invasion, I actually do know this is part of the plan. You know what I'm saying? It is part of the plan. The cards that they're playing, you know, it's been part of the plan for, like, you know, comets coming in, alien invasion, you know, the Twin Towers. You know, if you look at the Illuminati card game, all those cards are in there. And I do what is going to be allowed to happen is that there is going to be they're going to lose so much control. You know what I'm saying? Because that's why we're experiencing what they're experiencing. They're going to go to their last card, and then they're gonna try to fake an alien invasion with all their super advanced technology and stuff like that. But what I found out about is what's also in on the plan is that, because when this happens, people are going to have to comprehend what's happening. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know what's happening, you are either going to be you're either going to be scared shitless, because there's going to be four types of people. You're going to be, because people are going to be like believing in God. God is going to become real prevalent when this actually happens, because there's going to be the first people are going to be completely scared shitless. They're going to be like going there. That is what they're going to be by what they're seeing. The second people are going to be the worshipers. You know, they're going to be the ones that are just like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be getting down. They don't know what else to do. The third people are going to be like the intellectuals. You know, they're going to be the ones going around like, oh, I told you, I am right. You know, I knew this all along, you know, and they're going to want to have credit and all that. But the fourth people are going to, you know, be like the ones who know what's going on. They're going to be the ones who just are kind of taking it all in and not making too much reaction about it, and just, you know, being just letting it happen. Because what's going to happen is, you know, the bad guys are going to show their stuff, but then the good guys are actually going to trump out their stuff with their stuff, you know, like the light ships and all that. And then we're actually going to see a literal war in heaven, because I've actually even seen it in my dreams when this happens. And then people are, they're first of all, they're freaking out. And I'm there, and I'm telling them, go into your house, get your, you know, your supplies and everything ready, and stay inside while this goes down.
Yeah. As commanders, they already gave me my post, so I already know where I have to go. I don't know. Did they already tell you, Anthony, where you're going to go?
Oh, dude, I mean, I already, like, it's actually kind of funny, because I know I'm seeing into the future now. There's been so many times where I was in an apartment complex in this memory, and lo and behold, I'm actually moving to Arizona. I'm moving to Arizona to an apartment complex with my sister and my mom. And now these events are adding up, because I'm like, okay, that was me probably in Arizona when this happened.
That's freaking crazy, because my daughter had a dream in March when I was going to the conference. She says, Mom, your super soldier friends were here in the living room all dressed in black. And I'm like, yes.
Oh, dude, that's crazy then. That is crazy, because I remember talking to someone, and they're like, oh, we're so glad you're here. We're so glad you're here, you know. And that's interesting. That's interesting.
Well, guys,
I had heard rumors about people possibly waking up to go to predetermined locations if there was a, you know, an event. Is that going to happen for something that's faked, or is it only going to happen for something that's, you know, it's legit and we need to be woken up?
Well, we're all going to be involved with the fake and the real. Okay, our job, like Anthony said, we're not going to be the ones that are, you know, saying, I told you. We're going to be the ones, okay, let's get this shit on the road. We got this here, you know, delegate, get your weapons, get whatever, you know. And one thing that I know that we're not supposed to do is when we're in our vehicles getting ready to go, or the caravan, we're not supposed to use our Bluetooth or the Wi-Fi or whatever that's in our vehicles. We're supposed to use the channel frequencies on our car radios or telepathy, because some systems will be down. That's why you need radios and all in the water and all that stuff.
Yep, like ham radios, like getting the ham radios going is going to be important, because my whole mission here is self-sustainability and survival. You know, and I know that that's going to be coming into you know, prevalence here. Like when everything goes down, no one knows what's going on. Because even my grandmother has been involved in the Rampa school since 1977, and the people that Rampa are involved with, you know, obviously the higher ups, our friends in higher places, they started coming in at 1977 to get people ready for this time. You know, because it was going to take people a long time to wake up the people, to start getting ready, start getting food ready, start getting, you know, shelter built, safe places when everything goes down. And they came back in 1977 to get people ready for this time. So this is just, and it's almost almost time. But,
okay, I have to ask your opinion on you for you all. What's your take on the Rapture Theory, or would you say that's more like ascension? where we leave the planets. What's your take on that? I'm just curious.
Take on that? That's bullshit. Okay, those are the aliens, the ETs coming, and the Pleiadians and the bad, we'll call them the bad ETs coming to say, we're gonna save you.
Yeah, we'll get you out of here.
I fell for it for a day.
We'll take you out of this hell. We'll take you out, and they will. They'll take you out of this hell.
What?
But you will be probably involved in something you don't want to be in. So that's going to be probably another thing that people are going to have to see through. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to take you to another planet and blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like a heaven scenario where they're going to use your battery to hold you up on those cells. We'll say cells.
Yeah, I feel like that's just it's been a perversion of the split, the split with the higher consciousness and lower consciousness. We see all the people getting dumbed down. It's going to happen in a big way now. And they're going to be so dumbed down that, well, what happens to everyone else that's not from their perspective? It's more like a perspective shift where, oh, wow, where'd everybody go? Everybody who's quote unquote woken up, super soldiers beyond, are now invisible to everybody who's a part of the grid. The Matrix has to ignore anyone whose vibe is too high, and everyone whose vibe is low probably won't even see them, and they'll become like ghosts, and the equivalent of kind of like a rapture. Well, what happened to everybody? Everybody kind of just left at the same time. No, they didn't leave. You just got plugged in, and now you can't see anything but what the Matrix wants you to see. That's kind of one of the downloads I got, is that it's not, nobody's going to save you and take you away and go somewhere else. Your perspective is going to shift. Which team are you going to be on?
I heard actually too, like in the ancient secret of the flower of life, those that are raising their vibration and ascending, literally objects, like three-dimensional objects, things that don't actually belong in the higher dimensions, are going to just disappear.
Yep, I've heard that. Yeah,
yeah,
I heard that too, and it kind of reminds me of the Sesame Street. One of these things just doesn't belong here, right? Anyway, welcome, Maria. Thank you for being on. Any questions? We got another max 10-15 minutes.
Would you say diet change is part of ascending, and pretty much just eating something you used to love and then tasting it and being like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, because your DNA is changing. You got to activate your DNA. And I'm not saying anything about meat, guys, because I'm O negative and I need my meat. So I'm not going to go into this vegetarian. You got to be, you got to be alkaline or there. No,
it's a common symptom. A lot of us are feeling it, apparently. From what I've been seeing on TikTok, I thought it was just me. And there's people having random body aches they can't explain. Their appetite changes completely. A lot of people just aren't hungry anymore, which is apparently maybe the light body now just doesn't need the kind of sustenance and low vibration stuff that it used to need. So you might not be craving it as much. Sleep disruption. Some people sleeping a lot, and then some people not able to sleep at all.
I wish I could sleep.
Yeah.
Jax,
we're all over the place.
Apparently. I know, right?
All over the place.
As far as the eating stuff, Jax, some do I'll wake up some days because I know I've been active and I'm hungry as F. So yeah, it just depends if you're on mission or not, and also if they're a light warrior or whatever.
Yeah, to Jesse's point, there's stuff I used to just crave. I'd eat it under any circumstance, and now I just still some on
oatmeal, man.
On the shelf.
I've been craving oatmeal.
Weird, yeah. I'll eat oatmeal dry sometimes.
I'll go through periods. It'll be months on end, sometimes a year, where I can't stand the smell of meat, and for some reason, I haven't eaten red meat for a while, and then the last 2 weeks, I've been craving it because usually I'm just pescatarian. And I don't know, now I'm feeling kind of depressed, and I'm like, maybe I should have eaten this meat still vibe. But I'm anemic, so I need the red meat. So I don't know, I feel conflicted about it a lot. But then I'll eat chicken and fish, but then chicken for 6 months smelled like death to me and I couldn't eat it. So that went out the window. So things I would put chicken in, I started putting jackfruit in. So I go back and forth a lot. I don't know if that's ascension symptoms, but I mean, for 2 years I was vegetarian. And
I used to make jokes that I could taste the fear. I was like, oh man, these nuggets are so good. Taste that fear, baby. And now it's like I really can almost, and I don't even want it anymore.
I mean, I was in Texas, and I hadn't eaten any red meat, and that was in March. And my son's father-in-law says, "Go to Whataburger, get a burger." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll try a burger." And I tried to eat it, and I could feel the fear in this burger. I don't know how whatever they did to that animal, it saw it coming. So I could only take a couple bites. I had to eat some of it because I was starved. But it just had that fear vibration like that. And then the next day, my stepdaughter goes to eat it. She's like, "Oh my God, this thing it tastes like fear. What is wrong?" And we're like, "Oh my God, we're so sorry. Now you're so empathetic. You can feel things the animal felt beforehand." And we're like, sometimes you can eat meat and sometimes you can't, you know?
What I got for you, Susan, is to try and eat raw pineapple, ginger, and asparagus. That's what I got for you, especially pineapple, because it's a sweet, how do you say it, raises your happy vibration. Okay, Maria, your turn. Sorry.
What's my turn? What am I saying about?
I had texted you that that your sister was asking about the San Francisco, the question she had about the dumps earlier, or
even though we're twins, telepathically, I didn't get that. I don't know what that's about, but okay. On diet, yeah, pineapple is also really great for, an antiparasitic. So, why are antiparasitics working so well right now for treatment? So really great question, Jesse. I mean, cleaning the vessel, purifying is totally what's going to help upgrade our DNA. So I think you're right on for making that an important part of your life. And it's going to be a different journey for everybody. Susan can't maybe handle a certain smell or food, whereas, I can, or Kimberly, or, you guys, but toxicity is a really big thing right now. And we have to kind of, meditate or try to differentiate. Is it the shedding, or is it the, part of going through that birth canal, which is, ascending. So, toxicity in the 5G, food, whatever, negative thoughts, we just really have to get back to the basics and really turn on those intuitive juices, guys. And if your body, I use a lot of essential oils in my office. And if a person comes in, I don't want to necessarily use that oil on them right away. I'll have them smell it first. And if they are like this, then we do not use that oil. So I think really honor those things that are feeling right for you, and skip it and move on. And maybe it'll be okay in 2 weeks. But anyway, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Would you say hydration is important too? One thing I have noticed is possibly drinking a lot more water, going to bed, and going to the bathroom more frequently, obviously. But when I would wake up midnight, I would go to the bathroom as if I didn't drink anything the day before. I don't know.
Definitely.
Sorry, my cat stepped on my mic.
Water, earth, and space. Air, all of the elements, air, fire, water, earth, and space. Be paying attention to all of that. And it's just a huge part of our ascension. And again, if you look at Ayurvedic medicine versus, I'm always teaching, I'm such a fan of water, but Ayurvedic, says something else. Maybe someone doesn't need that much water, whereas I know I use a ton. I'm a Pisces, I'm a water sign. I just I live in that, and I love to be around it. But
yeah,
what I also, so what I also like to mention too is, try not to drown yourself, and make sure that you have really great broad spectrum electrolytes going in there. Either you put them in your water, you take them on the side, either one. Sorry, my dog. He's barking, so I put myself on mute.
Like, we need to do the walkie-talkie thing. Over. Right, that's my piece. Over.
But I definitely, Anthony, I am so glad that you brought up ham radio, because, I'm seeing all these different ways we need to learn how to communicate in other ways, whether it be sign language, ham radio, Morse code. I mean, all of the old ways. Let's bring that back, and, try to get those books before they're all gone. Where we can't teach that.
I have a bunch of that stuff saved for anybody who needs it. I have almost all the little ham radios, multiple ones.
The future is definitely different. Yeah, than now. And how we're going to work together and communicate. I mean, we're not going to be talking, over the internet anymore. We're going to be like face to face with people, grouping together with people to make it through it, make it through, becoming sovereign, because right now that's what we want to do, is become sovereign and self-sufficient as much as possible while this is all going down, because that's what they didn't want. They wanted to enslave us and kill us, and that's what they're still doing. So the more sovereign we can become, the more self-sufficient, the more freedom that we have, and that's their demise. The more sovereign we become.
Yeah,
the
little things
on them.
Yeah, if we do things like keep electronics that are going to be critical, hard drives in Faraday boxes or anything that might survive an EMP attack, there's fabric that you can wrap your ECU controller for your car, your vehicle, to potentially protect it should there be some kind of EMP pulse. Be able to salvage your vehicle, be the only one to be able to drive around on the road because you protected your electronic control box. So multiple things that you can do to just be extra prepared and potentially be the only one mobile when things go down.
Well, the microwave is a Faraday cage, so I put my phone in there at night, put it on airplane mode, turn it off.
Yep, that's a good one. Yep.
And then some of these new vehicles, like the Teslas, it's like they can send an EMP, it's like I'd rather have an old school vehicle with a carburetor than a digital vehicle, a smart vehicle.
I'm looking for my Chevelle right now.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we're going to call it a night. I have to have surgery in the morning, so I better call it a night. And I'll have Jax upload the video, and hopefully either by tonight or tomorrow, whenever he can. And is there any last words that you all would like to say? Anthony, we can start with you, and then Kimberly. Maria?
I just just getting prepared right now for everything that's going down is the most important thing, and just not to be too surprised at just the craziest things that we could ever see we're going to be subjected to. So just to maintain balance and peace, and harmony as much as possible. Stay out of confrontations and stuff, and arguments and debates and all of that, and just like stay in your own personal knowing of what and then like your group, and just be ready for things to get interesting.
I would say, for me, I've been getting the past year or two about this is the final resurrection. It's just like, I feel like very strongly thinking about a life review and trying to get your life together spiritually. I follow the teachings of Jesus of loving others, and just like making amends with your family and friends and who's going to be there for you, and networking with people that are like-minded, and like Anthony said, try not to get in arguments, just loving others as much as possible. And I see things going pretty badly, but at the same time, I do see cities of light and people banding together to survive this.
Thank you, Kimberly. Susan, and then Maria, and then Jesse, and then Jax.
Well, it's nice to finally talk to you tonight, Anthony, and it's nice to see everybody else and talk to everybody else again. I was just going to say, try to keep yourself high vibe, do and learn any energy healing you can do. Read up anything you feel called for to read, about your Kundalini, anything, do it, because that's where you need to be right now. And can't really think of anything else. Have a good night, everybody.
Hi guys, thanks for letting me hop on late. Totally agree with Anthony. Train every day, make sure you're ready. You know, so you don't have to get ready at the last minute. Love the idea of energy work, Susan, because, you know, there's going to be a day where we don't need this, you know, and if we can just really practice our intuition and telepathy that we all have in us already, is going to be the best. And I just wanted to say thank you for bringing us together, Miss Veronica, and good vibes to you on your surgery day. I know everything will go just fine.
I just wanted to say thank you, Veronica, for letting me come on the show, and for everyone putting their trust in me. When I know a lot, but I don't, if that makes sense. And coming from someone who has had a lot of experience and encounters, don't hold anything back. Don't ignore it. You know, research everything. Talk to the people that you can relate to. If something clicks, if something you can relate to feels right, always look into it. You know, just don't give up on trying to figure out who you are and what your purpose is.
Right on, right on. Yeah, thanks again, Veronica. Best wishes, white light, all the good juju for tomorrow. We know it's going to be A-okay, and we'll get our teammate right back here where she belongs in no time. So that'll be cool. So, but yeah, as someone who doesn't really have any memories, any trauma necessarily, I'm kind of just feel like I'm here playing pretend until somebody proves that otherwise. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. Thanks again.
Yeah, I told Jax in person and before the recording a memory that I had with him, and it's interesting. So my thing is beware of the infiltration, beware of the CIA love bite, because right now it is the final countdown and they will try anything to try and get you away from the mission. So yes, practice if you do have a partner or married, whatever. Do practice sex magic for the good of all, as above, so below. Practice your telekinesis with the 4 elements and be grateful and stay grateful. And remember the crystal cities, because we're going back to them one of these days. And we're going to party, right? Anthony and Jax, we were talking about that last video. We're going to party hardy.
I'm bringing the sound. I'm bringing the sound for everybody. Sound and electronics are up to me. You bring the bodies.
Anthony, I can't hear you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I just want to say that I actually, because, you know, finding out where you are in time and space is all what this is about. And I remember a memory of being in a celebration. You know, I have a lot of memories on the other side of being in celebrations and parties and just very, very celebratory things, because, you know, we are moving to those times, and it is going to be something to celebrate. Once, you know, they're completely taken down, that's when the future will be here. So that's what we got to make it to. That's what I understood. We needed to make it through this time to get to the future, but we definitely wouldn't be disappointed when we got there. So
I'll be ready. See, I told you I'm playing pretend over here.
Dude, I wish I had one of those.
I got you, dog. Got you.
Hell yeah.
You guys, I love you all so much, and we'll see you later. I love you, and I appreciate all of you. Thank you. Talk soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.